This is the first video I'm making after the release of the Z9 on the Z9, and I'm going to tell you why, the 7 reasons why you should not get the Z9. First off, it's a great camera and it's priced so well, and I said in one of my videos that if it's priced at 5,500 US dollars, I'm going to get one. And I've been thinking about it and I've been talking to myself, and this is that conversation, me with myself, and I thought I'll share this with you because um, really these internal conversations are very honest, so you may find some value in this. The first thing is that your existing camera is not any less because the Z9 is now out, right? Your existing camera is not any less. There's a lot of life left in these cameras, and it's up to us to really extract the most out of these cameras. Related to that, the second point is that if you look at what's been happening the Z bodies, we've been looking forward to firmware releases that will make the Z6 II and the Z7 II really solid cameras, even better than they are right now, and we expect to get some of the goodies that you see in the Z9. We want them to flow down into this body, but even if you look at the Z50, the Z6, the Z7, and the Z5, all these bodies got firmware update, and they really got really better. Right now, I was thinking of selling the Z6 a few days back, and I updated my camera, the Z6, with firmware version 3.40, and this is right now the Z6 is so close to the Z6 too, so close. So I've cancelled my plan of selling the Z6, right? I'm not going to do that anymore because once you get used to the performance of the Z6 II, I kind of wanted the Z6 to have the same level of performance. It was already very good, but my shooting style had adjusted for the Z6 II, and right now the Z6 has upgraded itself to being so much better. So these cameras, these bodies are constantly getting better, and thanks to Nikon, kudos to them. They're constantly supporting us. They have not forgotten the first buyers, the first adopters of the Z system. It's so good to realize that. So that's a second reason. Existing cameras are not only not less, they are getting better. That's the second reason. The third reason, it's a wonderful feeling to get used to a camera. It's a wonderful feeling to use a camera for a long time. Human beings develop relationships with objects. We fall in love with the cars, with houses that just four walls. We fall in love with bikes. Tom Hanks, the character of Tom Hanks in Castaway, fell in love with the basketball, right? He started to look at that ball as a friend. What is he called? Freddy, right? I don't remember, but I think he was called Freddy. The point is, when you spend a lot of time with your camera, after like 5 years, when you take your camera out and go on a trip, go on a solo trip with the camera, you'll feel that there's someone with you, that someone who knows you, someone who's got your back, who has always supported you and is going to support you going into the future. So there's a romance that's there in this. There's a bond that we develop. We know our old cameras' idiosyncrasies, their quirks. We know their strengths and their flaws. So there's this sort of partnership, and it's not just me, and I'm sure that a lot of you connect with what I'm saying. Omar Gonzalez, for example, often talk about this when he talks about his Fuji X-T2, Fuji X-T20, and Fuji X-T1. He often talks about this very thing, and I thought that's a very important reason. Just the ability to not sell our old camera and keep them and use them for a long time. It's a wonderful thing. The fourth reason is a bit hard, but it's harsh, but it's very important. All of us should deserve the Z9. All of us should earn it, and earning it is not equivalent to just having the money to buy it. It is something else. When you buy something so good as a Z9, you lose that primal lust to go after your best work. That you see, when you reach the limit of a camera, because it's so difficult to reach the limit of a Z9, it is so difficult. It's the camera is probably 100 times any good photographer. So it's very difficult to reach the limit of that camera. But we often feel that we want to upgrade because we have probably reached the limit of our cameras. But have you really reached the limit of your Z6 II, Z7 II? Even if you're a Canon user, a Sony user, have you reached the limits of those cameras? And you're looking at Nikon right now, thinking Nikon is bringing their big guns out right now. The color science is fantastic, the files are great, the ergonomic, the build quality of these bodies are really, really good. Maybe you're a Canon, a Sony, or Fuji user, and you're looking at the Z9 and lusting over it. It doesn't matter what you use. The point is, reaching the limit of your camera is a wonderful thing because it's a marker of growth. That's one thing. So we should all try and reach limits of our existing gear. That's one. But the second thing is that when you reach the limit of your gear, it's almost like your back is pushed to the wall. And when your back is pushed to the wall, you put your best foot forward. You bring your best fight to the table or to the stage, whatever. You bring your best fight. You bring your best out. So that's why I think it's important to at times, often, very frequently, to allow yourself to be somewhat limited by the gear that you use. And when you do that, you really find your best creative self because you find workarounds, you find other solutions. So yeah, that really is great. That works. Fifth reason, when you are in this gas induced, gear acquisition syndrome induced upgrade journey, your acquisition syndrome replaces your creative goals. I'm telling you, it can happen very easily because buying this is like having a bag of potato chips or maybe something sweet because it immediately makes you happy. This immediate sugar rush, this dopamine rush, it makes you happy. It takes your eye off the real goal and it satisfies you. It's like when you get married, when you get the girl of your dreams, you kind of get complacent, right? Often it happens to most people. You get complacent and then you get fat, right? So we're all human beings. It happens, and when you get this camera, when you get this shiny, great, one of the greatest cameras ever made, that itself, getting the camera itself becomes a goal. So give yourself a task, give yourself a challenge, complete that. Then the Z9 becomes a reward that you can justify for yourself, but not before that. Not before that. It is important that you don't replace your creative goals with just the camera and be done with it. That's unhealthy. The sixth reason, don't you need anything else? Don't you need a better ND filter, better tripod, better light, maybe a very good travel bag, camera bag? Don't you need a much better gels? What about batteries? What about maybe sound devices? What about a better laptop? The new Apples are out, or even if you have not upgraded to the M1 laptops last year's, why not you get that? Do you have high quality paper backdrop? Do you have binoculars if you're a wildlife shooter? Do you have money for travel? Won't these things serve you better than just one camera? Because there's so much that you can buy with that $5,500 US. So I thought that's one very important thing to ponder over. The last reason, the seventh reason, why don't you invest in yourself? Why don't I invest in myself? Why don't we buy books? Why don't I spend money on my health? Why don't I pay off a debt? Maybe, yeah. Why don't you invest in mutual fund or stocks? Why don't you be responsible with the money? Don't you need anyone who needs a bit of help? Can't you help someone with that money? A little bit, 5%, 2% of that money. Can't you do that? Can't you donate that money to a lot of people in the world need help, man? Can't you donate that money for something that's good and apply all of those other thinking systems that I talked about before? Those thinking systems to make your work better, to make yourself a better photographer, better creator, better filmmaker, better everything that you want to be. Will the Z9 be that one thing that trumps all of this? I don't know. I don't think so. So am I going to get one? I really thought, like I said, if it was $5,500 US, I thought I'm going to get one. But now that it's out, I was thinking about it. I was arguing with myself, and I thought hard on it. And I don't want to confuse you, but I thought hard on it, and I think I'm not going to give in to another wanton reckless desire. Yeah, I've judged it by calling it reckless, but it's at least a indulgent wanton desire, and I'm not going to give in to that. I want to discipline myself. I think this is an opportunity to do that. I know Nikon is going to come out with really good lenses. That's one reason to kind of hold on to the money. Back of my mind, that's the other thing that's going on. But I have the money to buy it, but I want to put more value. I want to put a lot more value to that money. And so that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off. And if If you think that I'm completely off, share your opinions. I can't stop you from disliking the video, but if you like any point that I have said, share. If I have not offended you, don't stop yourself from liking this video. And if you think that this corner of this internet you're doing something good, help me by subscribing. That's going to go a long way. It takes a lot of thinking, takes a lot of my heart and soul, and a lot of time to kind of make, to come up with these, to realize what I want to talk about, and then really give it a form and shape, and then come out and do these videos and then edit them, upload them. It takes a lot of time. So if this is of any value, do subscribe. See you very soon with another video.